Hello, everybody. This is Ferris.
And this is Caleb Lenore. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guyz.
What up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, doing well. I can unpack that a little bit more, but definitely doing well, brother.
Well, tell me what is well. Tell me, because we talking about, so we're going to dive in.
We're going to start utilizing the tools, man.
We're going to utilize some of the tools that we use.
I'm excited about getting this week jump started, brother. Like, we got a lot of things that are really closing out, like a lot of projects closing down, closing out. So that makes it well, because it gets stressful when you have to juggle so many different things. So I'm at a good space right now, man.
Yeah, I was walking in the back earlier today. You know, we have our towel guy put in the towel in the event space. Looks amazing. Ferris is finalizing on the chandelier.
Oh man,
we're excited to reveal this to you, to you guys, as well as to our community within the next couple of weeks.
Man, we should do like an on-set type reveal or type podcast back there, just to kind of, it's gonna be beautiful.
That would be nice.
Real beautiful, bro. That thing gonna be nice.
You know, I think I would think that would be great. I was thinking about some ideas on how we could kind of get the event space like marketed, like for the community. And I did share with our event coordinator. I told her that, why don't we? This is just a little side topic. Just go. Why don't we possibly have like a do like a wedding venue? So have different people that set up like their tables in the back, and then that would cause people to come in. We keep them for a week. Keep the little stands or the little stations for a week. If they want to get want to come in, the brides or the local area want to come in and kind of tour like who can decorate the best table and who has different venues, they can see that and then come in and then see the facility. I think that'll be a great kind of marketing thing to do.
I think it'd be really cool. And I think that's one thing is like being able to like get
Middle
the word
Georgia
out.
Wedding venue.
Dude, that'd be,
like that. I think
it's gonna be nice. We're super excited about revealing this thing. It's been a lot of hard work. We got a great crew that's been dedicated. Guys, to work with strong personality, it takes a strong personality. It takes a strong personality. So shout out to our team.
What are you talking about, Willis?
We're talking about, man, we're not the easiest ones to work with.
We're not.
But it takes strong people, and I like how lions typically run with lions, and I'm like, you can't be a hyena trying to run with us. So man, it's gonna be awesome, bro. It's gonna be awesome, man. Exactly. I'm super excited about, man. Today, first of all, we're approaching Super Bowl Sunday in the next couple of weeks, so shout out to whoever's going to the Super Bowl.
And my birthday.
Yeah, your birthday. I think the Super Bowl is like right around your birthday.
I don't even know when the Super Bowl. When the Super Bowl?
Go and Google and I'll kind of talk a little bit. But so, and you'll be going out of town, right? You're going like to
LA.
LA. So you're out there where the Super Bowl is going to be, man. So
February 13th.
You probably just miss it.
No. Well, February 13th is a Sunday. I come back on Saturday.
Oh wow, you should extend it, brother. You should extend it and go ahead. Yeah, man. I would just go through. Have you ever had any? Have you ever been into a Super Bowl festivities? Like,
I haven't. I haven't. And you told me about like who all was on the lineup for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they got like, look,
I mean, can you just buy tickets for the Super Bowl? You can't really do that.
Oh, you got it's expensive. But the thing is to enjoy the other festivities around the Super Bowl. They had a lot of things going on in the city.
Okay.
You may catch it.
Maybe one more extra day.
I would, and like it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. So
exactly,
I'm in
man.
LA, so why not?
Exactly, man. But hey, we're super excited about going through and talking about today's topic. Today's topic is very important. The topic is don't waste your crisis. Don't waste your crisis. And I think, Caleb, you and I, we've discussed this several times in passing conversation. Just having in a lot of times when a crisis comes, a lot of times people retreat. A lot of times people look at it as like, oh my gosh, like this is happening to me. Right. And that's a waste of a crisis, instead of having the other preview, a point of view of like, you know what, this is an opportunity to do something, opportunity to get better as well. So this is an exciting conversation, man.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I'm ready to dive in and just kind of just understand your mindset whenever there's a crisis, and definitely just kind of converse about this topic. I think that especially you all know that we're dealing with the crisis right now. Not only are we dealing with the pandemic with COVID-19, you know, we're dealing with a crisis of employment. You know, we're dealing with a crisis that, you know, people aren't employed. We also dealing with the crisis of healthcare. There's a healthcare issue where a lot of people don't have appropriate healthcare, and so all of these are crises that we deal with. But it's how we see, or what lens do we see these crises in? You know, and so I'm excited to dive in today.
Dude, man, I was reading a quote. I found a quote by Albert Einstein that says, "In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity." And that's one thing that excites me, is having the lens of opportunity instead of like, oh my gosh, this is a crisis.
Right.
And one thing I think about, as we all have encountered the COVID-19 crisis of the last couple of years, a lot of opportunity came with that. A lot of opportunity came for industries to grow. A lot of opportunities came for people to personally grow.
Right.
And a lot of opportunities were missed because it was looked at as, oh my gosh, a lot of times people retreated during that time right there. And so that's where I think I like to go through and kind of start, is like, typically when a crisis happens, people have a natural reaction, I had to go through and position myself. My brother-in-law and I, we talk about this all the time. What if we always play out what if scenarios.
Well, hold on. Well, tell me more about that, because that's really good.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding what you're saying about what if scenarios, tell me about your what if scenarios.
Our what if scenarios, it ranges from if we lose some of the people that are closest to us, a child or a wife or a spouse, how would we react? To mentally have this conversation with ourselves now, not in preparation for something to happen, but if something should happen, one thing I don't want to lose is my sanity, lose my mind, because I never had this thought of.
Wow.
It's like never having it. It's always like, it's almost like if you never think that you would have a flat tire, and the first thing you do is you have a flat tire, you're like, oh my gosh, do I swerve? Do I never think? I like to think about the crisis before they happen, not to go through and actualize them, but to go through and prepare my mind, so just in case something happened, I'm not caught off guard.
Yeah. What I hear is like really being prepared for reality.
Yes.
Because in life, things happen. You have deaths. You have a loss of a job. You have your child is sick. You have to come back home. So it's being prepared for reality. And so that's a great thing that you all do those what if scenarios. I kind of like that.
Yeah, and what it does is it really allows the mind. It's like it allows your mind. It trains your mind on how to think in situations that may encounter danger, encounter some things that are out of your control. And I think that's what a crisis does. Like, just think about the COVID-19 crisis. A lot of things were out of our control. Right. And I remember when it first rolled out, it was a lot of fear. It's like, what's going on? This new flu bug or whatever's coming from China. What's going on? Then it's like all the toilet paper went out. Like what in the world? The toilet paper going like,
and then people had all the food, and it was Clorox was gone,
and that creates crisis. Like all the food, like, oh my God, let me buy, because if all the food's gone, am I gonna starve to death? Right. Like if the toilet is gone, what am I use to go to the restroom with? It's like it creates a crisis. And if the only time we think about a crisis is during a crisis, that means we're behind the wire. We're behind the 8 ball. We have to think about and prepare ourselves for crisis that will come as well.
So just to dive back into some of those what if scenarios, like what are some other things? I know you talked about, like, if you lost someone, what are some other scenarios that you all do?
Crisis. When I think of a crisis situation, I think of when I think of a crisis situation, I think of danger. I think of something's out of my control. So another what if scenario: what if someone breaks in my house? What am I going to do? Right. So in preparation for that, I have certain things set up in my house, so if anything happens, I'm able to protect my family on whatever level of the house we're in, whatever room we're in. I'm able to go there and protect my family because I've already thought about that crisis. I didn't wait for something to happen to like, oh my God, somebody's in here. What we gonna do? And look to my wife or my children for the answer. Right. I've already thought about that crisis. So now it's not the heightened danger like that.
You're prepared.
I'm prepared.
So in healthcare, we have like especially in school, when we was in school, we had a tornado drill. Yes. And so we prepared for the crisis in the event of a tornado. In healthcare, we have a disaster preparedness plan. So in the event that there are natural disasters that come in and we're taking care of clients, what do we do? And so we rehearse that. And so what I like what it is when you preparing yourself for crisis, you're preparing for the inevitable. Yes. And so by being prepared for the inevitable, you coming up with a mental plan, or you draw out a plan for that. And so just to tie that into this day and this current market, we are 2 years into the pandemic. Yes. And unfortunately for some businesses, Ferris, when it started back in March of 2019, there has not been, no one was prepared. Wow. No one had a plan for a COVID-19, especially for those ones that needed people to come in there in their business or their shops. And so they didn't prepare for that. And some of them still ain't pivoting from it. Man, to be honest with it, they still think that it's going to go back to the old way, and it's not. Life is different now.
And Going back to the quote from Albert Einstein is, in the midst of every crisis lies a great opportunity.
Right.
And bringing it back to COVID-19, so many opportunities, and we understand there's a lot of deaths that happen, there's a lot of losses that happen, but there are so many opportunities for people to go through. People pray for an opportunity to grow, and that was the prayer answer. The prayer answer was not, okay, going through and doing this. The prayer answer was an opportunity to put everything on a level playing field. We all had to stop. We all had access to the same internet. We all had access to the same funds and everything. Right. We all had that same access. So that was the opportunity. But just like you said, Caleb, so many times people miss an opportunity. I look at it from different industries. In the healthcare field, there was a booming explosion because the opportunity was there. And in hospitality, Airbnb, there's a booming explosion because
real estate,
it was there. Funeral home business, it was there. Like so many different opportunities. Learning online, it was there and still there. Counseling services, yes. It was there.
Right.
And a lot of industry a lot of those ones I just named, they exploded during COVID-19. But in that same breath, in the healthcare field, a lot of businesses closed. In the real estate field, a lot of businesses closed. In the counseling field,
right.
Even in churches, people closed their doors because they missed the opportunity. They were going through and thinking that, oh my Lord, their perception of the opportunity or of the crisis gave them they didn't see the crisis as opportunity. They saw it as something that came against them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Just to speak on the church, I feel that I feel that some churches did it well throughout the pandemic, and others did not innovate or really kind of go with the times.
Yes.
And so I see a lot of these mega churches like Bishop Jakes. I watch him religiously. I watch Dr. Arisha Hilliard in New Light in Houston. Joyce Meyer. I listen to a lot of these ministers, and a lot of these ministers have moved to a platform like us, Ferris, online virtual podcast approach, more so a studio format, getting the word out there. And a lot of the local churches has failed to implement that because they want to see the people. They want the people to come back to the church. And in actuality, the church is without walls.
Yes.
The church is within yourself.
Correct.
And so by ministering to people online communities, that's where the wave is. And and unfortunately, I feel that the church won't be the same as it was in the past.
Yes.
I feel that all these big buildings are pretty much none is not needed.
Yeah.
It's not needed anymore because really the church is this.
Yeah.
The church is having a smaller setting, involving and ministering to those lives and touching those lives through the camera, through the web base, through the internet. That's what I feel the churches. So all these big churches right now, Ferris, they have a lot of notes, a lot of notes, a lot of bills, but I don't think that that's the wave of the church moving to the future.
Hey you, do you know of a disabled child that needs in-home care services? My name's Adrienne. I'm a GAP clinical nurse with Prime Care Home Care. We specialize in providing in-home pediatric care for disabled children in the comfort of their home. I serve the South Metro Atlanta area. If you would like to enroll your disabled child, please call me at 470-651-8054.
And then just to pick, you can tell we're church kids.
We're PK kids, by the way.
And we're passionate about this because one thing, and I think that this is the saddest part right here. And I saw a lot during the COVID-19 crisis where even with the church, stick with the church, a lot of them, they got online and they were doing very well. They were reaching more people than they ever reached before. Right. And when the clearance came a little bit, a lot of Facebook, when the clearance came, they went back. They stopped doing the live and they said, I'm going to go back to what my comfort zone was. And that was the part right there. That was the missed opportunity. It's like the opportunity presented itself, the crisis presented itself as an opportunity for you to get to that next level. It forced you to get behind the camera. It forced you to get the mic. It forced uncomfortability. But now, once we got it all clear, mask off, right. Now we're going back
vaccines,
to
vaccinated,
now we're going back to the old way. And that's the missed opportunity. And that's how people even run their business. It's like, yeah, we're doing DoorDash and we're doing online orders, but I'm so glad we can get people back in to fill the seats up, and people are not coming back in droves to the seats.
Think about the restaurant industry, Ferris. Like the restaurant industry, yeah, DoorDash, Postmates, all these things, Uber Eats, all of this stuff was there, especially in my city of Atlanta. And so all these things were working, but some restaurants did not innovate to a DoorDash or Uber Eats. And they say, no, we don't want to do that. But when the COVID ban is lifted, they want people to come back in the seats. It's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
I don't think the restaurant, certain restaurants are going to be large restaurants. I recently went to, believe it or not, Macon. I went to the Red Lobster. You know, the Red Lobster on Riverside Drive. That used to be packed throughout the weekdays. Literally, no, they only had 3 servers in there.
Wow.
3 servers. And, you know, that's a work shortage. We ain't talk about that crisis, but it's a work shortage. But they only had 3 servers, and they probably had less than 20 people in there.
Wow.
And that was supposed to be a hot night. And so think about the businesses that's not going to survive within the next 6 months, the next 8 months. It's sad because you have to pivot and you have to be aware of the crisis, but you also have to continue to innovate. And you continue to have to lean into what the crisis, lean into the crisis.
And leaning into the crisis, from what I'm thinking about, is really positioning yourself or your business or your family or your finances or whatever for an opportunity to actually succeed, to take advantage of the opportunity that's at hand as well. Leaning into the crisis, I think about, since we're going to go back to the Bible, I think about when Noah actually...
We have in church today, y'all. If y'all listen...
If you miss Sunday service, we got you.
We here right here on the Thursday or Tuesday. We got you. We got you.
Oh, man. So like Noah, he went through, he positioned himself for the opportunity. Like he gave individuals the opportunity. He went through and built an ark. He heard that a storm was coming. He heard that rain was coming. And what he did was he started building the ark. He started telling people, even though only Noah's family came on board and the animals and everything, he gave the opportunity for everybody. But the opportunity was missed. So during the crisis, a lot of times people try to take advantage of the crisis. I'm sorry, take advantage of the crisis when the crisis is here. You can't, if a tornado's coming down, if a tornado's coming at your house and is already at your house, that's not the time to build a storm shelter.
Come on,
the time to build a storm shelter is before.
You end it
so
now.
You can go through and protect yourself when the storm comes. If the storm comes, but at least you're prepared to go through your position for that storm to come if it comes as well. So, man, I think that's one thing that leaning into the crisis, meaning positioning yourself for success, positioning yourself for an opportunity to take advantage of the crisis instead of just being another statistic of the ones that did not. And I think that's important.
You know, we're going to get back into the Bible. You know, I'm going to tell you one thing. I feel that this, especially when you are in a crisis, if you have the solution, you can be at peace. If you what the camera, this one right here. If you are in a crisis, if you have the solution, you can be at peace. Let's go back to the Bible. That's what, since we own it now. We already in the Word now. So I thought about Jesus with feeding the multitude. There was this little boy had 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread.
That sounds like a crisis to me.
That's a crisis, especially when you have 5,000 men that you got to feed. We ain't talking about the women and children. So we talking about 5,000 men, not even the women and children. This little boy had 2 pieces of fish and 5 loaves of bread.
Wow.
So remember what I said. If you have the solution, if you into the crisis, you can be at peace. So Jesus was the solution to the crisis.
Wow.
And so he said, do anybody got a piece? I can make it multiply because I already got a solution. And so I feel that whenever you're going through any kind of crisis, you can be at peace if you prepare.
Wow.
Just like Ferris said earlier, it's too late to build a tornado shelter when the tornado's coming. When COVID-19 came to hit our business, Ferris, it really affected our business, especially when it comes down to our traditional side. Because a lot of caregivers did not want to, work in the homes and want to protect their families, which is understandable. So there was a transition that was with structured family and with other different programs that we were unaware of. We seized the moment. We pivoted. And we pivoted in that crisis, and the state and ourselves, we found a solution to provide care for those needy individuals in their home with family members. And so I think that it's so important that when you get an opportunity and when you are experiencing in a crisis, to come up with that solution, to learn what the solution can be, that's the moment that you can be at peace. And right now, even in this pandemic affairs, with our business, I am at peace because I know that we are meeting the needs of our seniors.
Yes.
And we found the solution in this pandemic.
Wow. And the beautiful part about it is, Caleb, is not retreating back to the old ways.
Right.
A lot of things that we learned, and we're preparing even for the next crisis, if it should happen. Not saying one's going to happen, but we are preparing our minds. We're preparing our team in preparation. Let's talk about how do we prepare our team for how we did not waste the crisis. This was an opportunity for us, Caleb, to go through and actually exercise remote working for our team. We're a small business. We're a small business.
Was good. Let's talk about that because we have a lot of people, they work a few days out of the week in their home. We have seen so much productivity figures.
Yep. And we're a small business, Caleb. But most small businesses, when you think about remote working, you think about the AT&Ts and the Verizon and the T-Mobiles and the big companies. Right. But we were able to go through and actually put laptops and computers in the hands of our team members, allow them to work in a remote area, which is their home or wherever they decided to work. If they want to work on the beach, as long as they were working, we allowed them to go through and actually put themselves in a work environment, and the production went from here to here. Because we took advantage of the crisis at hand. We could have said, guys, we have to lay you off because you can't come to the office or we don't have other jobs. No, we have jobs. Now we just need you to go through. We want to protect you and your family. So we're going to give you an opportunity. And that's what's taking advantage of an opportunity looks like, is when the crisis comes, take advantage of it and don't go back. The thing that we're not going to do is forget this opportunity. We're not going to just go back to everybody coming to the office and work. We're going to learn and still keep that in practice. No, everybody's not going to work from the house 5 days a week, but we're going to keep that in practice so that if something should happen, it's not foreign to them again.
Also, you develop those procedures because that's a crisis.
Yes.
You develop those procedures. Okay, if we are experiencing this many COVID cases, we're going to go into a tier 1, which is, well, we're going to do this. Or tier 2, we're going to have people come into the office, have work remote. So those are things that you do. Also, I felt that especially in this pandemic, we seized the opportunity, which was definitely we pretty much quadrupled our sales force.
Yes.
When it comes down to marketing services.
Yes.
And so that's in this crisis, and we don't plan on going back. We want to figure out how to continue to grow and develop our plans. And so this is amazing. Let me say this. I read the New York Times. This is just off the subject. When we talking about leaning to the crisis, I read the New York Times actually a couple of days ago, and it was like 2 stories that stood out. And the first story was how these businesses were leaning into the crisis or pretty much were before COVID or before the crisis, they were failing businesses. And after COVID, they became just so successful. They quadrupled or doubled their revenue, et cetera, or even doubled in months.
Yes.
And so one of the business I want to shout out is Happy Cork. It's a minority-owned based wine store in Brooklyn, New York. So next time I'm in Brooklyn, hopefully if you watch this, I get a free glass of wine, but it's okay. But Happy Cork is a wine shop, and this lady in Brooklyn did not have a lot of foot traffic in the area, but once they were literally, I read the story, and she was like, "Well, we were just trying to get people to come in the door. It was just at wine tastings or whatever."
Yes.
Once COVID hit, it was kind of detrimental a start, but then actually, they believe it or not, liquor sales went up.
Wow.
So people, I guess when you're at home and you're depressed or you're going through, or if you just don't have anything to do, you want to just, you want to partake in alcoholic beverage. And so liquor went up or wine went up. And so her business was just doubling and doubling and doubling. And so in this crisis, she pivoted. She didn't close her doors because some people would have said, you know what, if I'm not being successful now when there's no crisis, but if there is a crisis, I'm going to shut my door and just count my losses. She did not do that. She kept going. So shout out Miss I don't want to say your name. It may be wrong, but she with Happy Cork, Brooklyn, New York, this is a wine shop that is doing phenomenal right now in this crisis. One more I want to shout out is the American Bicycle Group. That's out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so prior to COVID, they weren't doing well. The average bikes for the American Bicycle Group was like around $2,500 per bike. So it's custom made bikes. Yeah. And so prior to COVID, no crisis, they weren't making any money. after COVID, the crisis, they pivoted. They realized, okay, well, with the help of the PPP loan, they can bring staff back in, and et cetera. Coming to find out, outdoor activities and nature spiked during COVID.
Wow.
So when people were not trying to be in the city, they want to go away. They want to do nature trails. They want to go on bike rides. They want to go. So guess what? God allowed that business to double and double. And so this guy is thriving in this crisis, then pretty much surviving. And so I just want to shout out to those. It was a great New York Times article.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing, brother. Like, again, like these are things right here. Sir Winston Churchill said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Ooh. And that's one thing that as an example of not letting a good crisis go to waste, because again, it could have been the polar opposite where these individuals shut their doors for good. Lifetime savings and earnings went to the wayside because of something that was out of their control.
Right.
But they did not let the crisis go to waste. There was a good opportunity for them to think outside the box. And that's one thing I want to encourage you guys on this day is to don't let your crisis go through and go to waste. Whatever you're going through, whether it be something sickness, financial, business, relationship, whatever it is, an opportunity to go through and advance in a company, a crucial conversation you must have. Don't let your crisis go to waste. This is an opportunity for you to grow. This is an opportunity for you to expand your knowledge, expand your brand, expand your reach. This is an opportunity for you to go through and actually become reshaped in your mind, to go through and not think like you thought in the past, to go through and think like you're thinking right now and in the future as well. So don't take backward steps. The crisis came for you to go through and grow. Just seize that opportunity of growth as well.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversation with the Homecare Guys. This has been absolutely amazing. I want you to definitely download Spotify if you can and follow Conversations with the Homecare Guys on Spotify. We come up with episodes every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so you'll be notified on those. Also, if you go to YouTube, you can see our visual studio as well as us talking, so you can get the chance to see the face of the name. That's Ferris and Caleb, and this is how they look. So you can go there. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely share the word about Conversation with the Homecare Guys. We want to help so many people this year in entrepreneurship with our just candid conversations of what we have learned throughout life.
Yes.
Also, Facebook, like and share our videos as well as our information.
Yeah. Caleb, well, man, there you have it, brother. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays, make sure you tune in, go through like, subscribe, and everything. This has been another great episode of Conversation with the Homecare Guys, and we'll see you next time.
Stay safe.